One evening, I walked into our bedroom, and I saw an envelope on Ethan's side of the bed. It was slightly tucked under his pillow, like it had been hidden in a hurry. The envelope itself didn't bother me. The name on it did. From Lena. Lena. I didn't know any Lena. Not from his office, not from his college friends, not from our neighborhood. There had never been a Lena in our life. Ethan was lying there, half reclined, scrolling through his phone, and that envelope was right beneath him. I wanted to pick it up, but there was no way to do that without making him suspicious. So I quietly turned around and walked to the kitchen, pretending I had just come in to grab my charger, but my hands were shaking. Who was Lena? Why was she writing him letters? And why was Ethan trying to hide them from me? I stood in the kitchen for almost half an hour, holding the same glass, while every moment from the past few months started replaying in my head. His coming home late, his phone always locked, the way he stopped touching me, the way he would leave the room the moment I walked in. And suddenly, all of it had a name. Lena. After a while, I heard the sound of the front door closing. My heart started pounding. He had left the house. I walked straight to the bedroom. Ethan wasn't there. I looked at the bed. The envelope was gone. The ground beneath me felt like it disappeared. I checked the side table, the dresser, even the trash can. Nothing. But this time, I wasn't going to stop. I could feel it. The truth was still in that room. I lifted the bedsheet, and there it was, hidden flat between the mattress and the frame, like a secret. Like me. I took the envelope to the kitchen and just stared at it for a few seconds. My name wasn't on it. Our home address wasn't on it. Only his name, in a handwriting that wasn't mine. I opened it. Inside was a folded letter. The first line said, "I miss waking up next to you. Last night wasn't enough." My breath stopped. My hands went cold. I kept reading. She mentioned a hotel. She wrote how much she hated going back to her empty apartment after spending the night with him. She wrote, "I'm tired of sharing you with a woman who doesn't even realize you're already gone." That woman was me. At the end, it said, "You promised you'd tell her after the business trip. I don't want to be your secret anymore." Business trip? He wasn't on a business trip last week. He told me he was staying at Daniel's place because of late work. I called Daniel. He had no idea what I was talking about. In that moment, my marriage ended. Not because I read the letter, but because I knew the truth. Because the man who slept next to me every night was living another life. I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, and hid it exactly where I had found it, like nothing had happened. That night, when Ethan came home, he kissed my forehead and said, "Hey, you okay? You look tired." For the first time in 8 years, I looked at him and saw a stranger. I smiled. "Just a long day," I said, because in that moment, I wasn't the wife who had been betrayed. I was the woman who finally knew the truth. And the truth doesn't break you. It wakes you up. I didn't confront him. I didn't cry. I didn't ask a single question. And that was the beginning of everything changing. The next morning, I made his coffee the way he likes it. 2 sugars, no foam. I kissed him goodbye. I told him to have a good day, and he smiled, relieved, like whatever guilt he had been carrying was finally fading. He thought I didn't know. That was my advantage. From that day on, I stopped being his wife and started becoming a woman with a plan. I gathered everything: bank statements, mortgage documents, investment records, receipts for the down payment, every transfer I had ever made for that house, every bill I had ever split, every sacrifice that had built our life. At night, I lay next to him in the same bed and listened to him breathe, while I quietly rebuilt mine. I stopped asking where he was going. I stopped waiting up for him. I stopped checking his phone. Not because I trusted him again, but because he no longer mattered in the way he thought he did. And something strange happened. He became nicer. He started coming home earlier. He touched my shoulder when he walked past. He asked if I wanted to watch a movie. Guilt. It makes people temporarily gentle, but I wasn't interested in temporary versions of him anymore. During the day, I worked, harder than I ever had. I took extra shifts, applied for a higher position, opened a separate account in my name only. I met a lawyer during my lunch break and spoke in a calm, steady voice, as if I were discussing a business deal, not the end of my marriage. Because by then, that's what it was, a contract, not a love story. 3 months after that, he sat across from me at the dinner table and said the words he probably rehearsed with her. "I think we need some space." I looked at him with the same soft expression I used to wear when I still believed in us. "If that's what you want," I said. He blinked. He wasn't expecting that. No tears, no questions, no begging, just peace. And that's when I saw it, the confusion. Because men like him prepare for drama, they don't prepare for dignity. A week later, he moved into an apartment. He told people it was mutual. He told people we had grown apart. I let him. Silence is powerful. 6 months after that, the papers were ready. Not the ones he expected. The house was being sold. By court order. My legal share, my financial proof, my signature. He called me over and over that day. I didn't answer. When we finally met, he looked at me like he was seeing someone new. "You're really doing this?" he asked. I held his gaze. Doing what? Taking back what I built? That house was never his success story. It was mine. The day the money hit my account, I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I didn't tell anyone. I went to a quiet little place and signed the papers for my own home. Small, warm, completely mine. No memories of lies in the walls, no choosy perfumes in the air, no waiting for footsteps that never came. A year after the night I found the letter, he called. His voice was softer than I had ever heard. He said, "I miss you." Not us, not the marriage, me. Because by then, Lena was gone. The excitement had faded, and real life had settled in. He said, "I made a mistake." I believed him. People like him always do. They just realize it too late. "Can we meet?" he asked. So we did. Not at the old house, not at a restaurant, but at a cafe near my new place. Neutral ground. He walked in and stopped when he saw me, because I wasn't the same woman, not physically, but in the way I sat, the way I looked at him, the way I didn't reach for his hand. "You've changed," he said. I smiled. "No," I told him calmly. "I just stopped carrying you." There was nothing left for him to take from me. No house, no money, no emotional control, no version of me that needed his approval. And that was the moment I understood something. Revenge isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It isn't about making someone suffer. Real revenge is the day they realize they lost the one person who would have done anything for them, and that person is now living a life where they are no longer needed. I walked out of that cafe into my own future, not as someone who had been betrayed, but as someone who had taken her power back, quietly, legally, completely.